Diego Armando Maradona was born on October 30, 1960, in Villa Fiorito, a poor and densely packed shantytown on the southern outskirts of Buenos Aires, Argentina. He was the fifth of 8 children in a working-class family living on the edge of survival. His father, Don Diego, worked at a chemicals factory and did construction jobs on the side. His mother, Doña Tota, managed the home with strength and tenderness, often skipping meals herself so her children could eat. Their house had no indoor plumbing, and the streets flooded when it rained. Poverty wasn't abstract. It was in the walls, in the food, in the silence of nights when hunger kept the children awake. From a very young age, Diego showed something special. He was small, quick, coordinated, and obsessive with the football. He'd kick oranges, tennis balls, socks, anything. When he got his first real leather ball, he treated it as treasure. He'd sleep with it beside him, train with it endlessly, and perform tricks to amuse neighbors. By the time he was 8 years old, he had joined Los Cebolitas, the youth team of Argentinos Juniors. Crowds would gather just to watch the boy juggle the ball without letting it touch the ground. He would do it 100 times, then more, then while sitting, then while walking. His feet seemed to be guided by a different law of physics, effortless, playful, and sharp. On the pitch, he was untouchable, scoring from corners, humiliating defenders, creating something out of nothing with pure instinct. At age 15, he made his professional debut for Argentinos Juniors, entering a league dominated by hardened men. 10 days before his 16th birthday, he was subbed on against Talleres, and his first touch was a nutmeg. Fans cheered. He smiled. The world had been introduced. He quickly became the main attraction, scoring goals and dominating games despite being a teenager with a boyish face and a frame barely over 5'5". Within 5 years, he had scored over 100 goals for Argentinos, but he was still just a kid. Crowds doubled whenever he played. Journalists swarmed him. Sponsors chased him. The poor worshipped him. Politicians tried to use him. It was as if all of Argentina had placed its hopes on this one short boy with a left foot like a paintbrush. In 1981, he joined Boca Juniors, not for money or trophies, but for love. Boca was the club of the people, the underdog, the soul of working-class Buenos Aires. La Bombonera, their stadium, shook with the noise of 50,000 believers every match day. Diego delivered a league title in his first season and deepened his connection with the people. He was a street kid, just like them, only now with the power to win matches and challenge the elite. After the 1982 World Cup, he transferred to Barcelona for a world record fee. Spain expected a superstar, and Diego didn't disappoint, at least at first. He scored stunning goals, danced through defenses, and lifted Barcelona to trophies. But behind the brilliance was trouble. He was brutally hacked down by defenders, including a horror tackle by Andoni Goicoechea that nearly destroyed his ankle. Off the pitch, he was lonely, targeted by tabloids, and clashed with club management. The boiling point came during the 1984 Copa del Rey final, when he was taunted and assaulted by Athletic Bilbao players and fans. At full time, a mass brawl erupted, and cameras captured Maradona throwing kicks and punches. The Spanish authorities suspended him. Barcelona gave up. The relationship was over. Then came Naples. In 1984, Maradona joined Naples, a club in the south of Italy that had never won a title and was looked down upon by the wealthier north. Many thought it was a step down, but Diego saw something else, a city that understood struggle. He arrived to a chaotic welcome. 75,000 fans filled the stadium just to see him juggle a ball. Shops closed, banners hung from balconies, people chanted his name in the streets. Diego didn't just play for Napoli, he became Napoli. He led them to unprecedented glory, winning Serie A titles in 1987 and 1990, a Coppa Italia, a UEFA Cup, and a Supercoppa. He scored free kicks with impossible curve, dribbled through defenses like a ghost, and screamed at referees when fouled. He led a revolution not just in football, but in identity. Naples was no longer an afterthought. It was a capital of football, and Maradona was its king. But the price was heavy. Fame swallowed him. He began using cocaine regularly. He lived in isolation, surrounded by hangers-on, protected by the Camorra, the Neapolitan mafia. He fathered an illegitimate son, but refused to acknowledge him for years. He would arrive late to training, disappear after matches, and spiral deeper into addiction. By 1991, he failed a drug test and was banned from football. Naples cut ties. He fled to Argentina and never quite recovered. Internationally, his defining moment came in Mexico, 1986. The tournament was his stage. In the quarterfinal against England, he scored the infamous Hand of God goal, punching the ball into the net, later calling it a little with the head of Maradona and a little with the hand of God. Minutes later, he scored what many call the greatest goal in football history, dribbling 60 yards past 5 defenders and slotting it home. Argentina won the tournament. Maradona was the undisputed best player in the world. He was unstoppable, untouchable, and worshipped. But it was also the peak. Everything afterward was decline. In 1994, at age 33, he made one last push at the World Cup. He trained harder, looked sharp, and scored a beautiful goal against Greece. But soon after, he was caught using a banned stimulant and expelled from the tournament. Cameras caught his wide-eyed, frantic expression as a nurse walked him off the field. It was haunting. It was over. He never played for Argentina again. His post-football years were chaotic. He ballooned in weight, overdosed on drugs, and flirted with death more than once. He was hospitalized repeatedly. In 2004, he nearly died of heart failure. He survived, underwent gastric bypass surgery, and tried to get clean. He became a TV personality, ranting about FIFA, politics, and other players. In 2008, he became Argentina's national team coach. Though they crashed out in the 2010 World Cup, his touchline passion reminded fans of who he had once been. Fiery, loyal, emotional, larger than life. Despite his flaws, people never stopped loving him. He was deeply human, contradictory, raw, and magnetic. He fought for the poor, cursed at the rich, kissed children on the forehead, and screamed at authority. He was fearless. He was generous. He was outrageous. He made mistakes, admitted them, made more, and still found a way into people's hearts. On November 25, 2020, Diego Armando Maradona died of a heart attack at his home in Tigre, Argentina. He had recently undergone brain surgery and was recovering under medical supervision. The news of his death sent Argentina into mourning. 3 days of national mourning were declared. His coffin lay in state at Casa Rosada, where tens of thousands lined up to say goodbye. Some threw shirts, others wept. Many chanted his name one last time. In Naples, they cried in the streets. Buildings were lit in blue. Songs were sung from balconies. His murals were covered in flowers and scarves. In Buenos Aires, silence swept through the streets before erupting into song. His face, sometimes holy, sometimes defiant, was everywhere. Maradona's legacy is complicated. He was not a role model in the traditional sense. He was flawed, addicted, angry, and erratic. But he was also brilliant, loving, passionate, and honest in ways that most public figures never are. He lived with nothing and gave everything. He could change a match on his own, carry an entire team, inspire millions with a single pass. He wasn't perfect. He was something far rarer. Real. No one will ever replicate his path. No algorithm can capture his genius. No headline can sum him up. He remains a man who came from dirt and reached the stars, only to fall back down and still be loved, as if he had never left. He didn't need to be flawless to be eternal. He was Diego, and that was more than enough.